Hey everyone, Ben France here, life coach, licensed professional counselor, and creative soul. I guess is a good way of putting it, musician, composer, so on and so forth. Just jumping online here, wanting to record a short video, and this is kind of off the cuff, ad hoc. I'm starting to do just a series of videos. I think I'm going to do like this for a while, where I don't have a script plan, so this may be all over the place, and I really am not a huge fan of video editing software. I tried starting a YouTube channel years ago, and hated editing video. So unless I get to the point that I can afford to pay somebody to edit video as I put these up on YouTube, they're probably just going to be stream of consciousness. So hopefully you'll find maybe a few gems in with all of my ramblings and stuff. So it is currently December 28th, 2023. So winding down the end of the year. This year was a challenging one for a lot of us, me included. Ooh, me. If you're familiar with me at all, if you follow me on any social media or anything like that, you'll know that I struggle with anxiety pretty heavily. Even though I am a mental health counselor, and for a long time I felt a lot of shame around admitting this. Anxiety is my struggle of choice or lack of choice. And this year was a tough one. There was a lot of time that I had to take time off from work and cancel sessions with clients and clear my calendar for weeks at a time because my anxiety was just out of control. I am in a much better place now with that due to some work that I've been doing. A lot of work on healing my anxiety and a lot of work on healing myself and self-acceptance. And so while I still get those odd little twinges here and there, I'm doing much better and I'm wanting to get a little bit more actively involved back in sharing information that'll hopefully be helpful for some of you out there. So it's the end of 2023, a year's coming to an end. I always cringe at the New Year's resolution type of things because it always feels like one, we're setting ourselves up to fail because New Year's resolutions don't have a very good track record of being something that we stick with. And secondly, it always seems a little silly to say, what are my goals for next year? Like you have to wait until January 1st to set new goals for yourself and to aim for new things. For me, I am wanting to put more content like this out there that hopefully can help some people. If you're someone who struggles with anxiety like I do, if you're someone who struggles with, pardon me, I don't like the word struggles. If you're someone who is neurospicy, I like that term. I love that term. Neurodivergent, like I am. I want to put out some content that hopefully will help you. I am a very, very ADHD or ADD, depending on how old you are and what terminology you want to use for diagnosis, minded person. And while I've not been formally, pardon me, diagnosed autistic, I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of self-reflection, and I'm kind of coming to possibly the self-realization that I am also on the spectrum based on a number of struggles I've had over the years and based on how those present in light of evidence and in light of autism in the spectrum. So I say that just to say that I'm hoping to put some content out there that'll be helpful for those of you that might have those struggles or those challenges or just those different ways of interacting with life that can be a little challenging. And I'm going to be sharing my life is kind of an example. And I'll also probably be pulling some information from people that I have worked with. I will never name names or give specifics that could possibly even remotely identify an individual, not only because that's a big ethical no-no in my profession as a mental health counselor, it's also just a gross thing to do. I would never want to out somebody by sharing their story and the specific details of it where it might get back to them, because the reality is people that talk to me in that capacity talk to me in confidence and they talk to me with an expectation of it being a client therapist relationship, which is kind of like an attorney client privilege where it's off the table for everyone except for the two of us. So just know if I share stories about people that I've worked with, it is a conglomeration of a number of different people in a number of different scenarios, and it's never going to be an exact situation, exact person, exact circumstances, or anything like that, but more of kind of just using them as general ideas of ways that people have struggled and people have overcome some of the things that are difficult for those of us who are high anxiety, or those of us who are ADD, or those of us who do struggle with autism, those sorts of things. So I guess enough of an intro. Let's talk about the topic du jour. Ooh, du jour. So, sorry, I'm kind of a weirdo. Let's talk about the coming year, 2024. Going into this year, at the end of the year, this is the last weekend of 2023. I think this is a good time to kind of take stock and look back on your previous year and look and see how things have went. Be honest with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't tell yourself this was a horrible year. I'm a bad person. I failed. I failed. I failed. Because the reality is, if you're watching this, you're still here. That means you didn't fail. That means you've picked yourself back up and you're still breathing and you've still got the opportunity to do things differently. So look back on this last year. Look at the things that you've went through. Maybe try to look at the things that you've learned from that. Maybe try to look at the growth you've had from that. And also, it's okay to look back and grieve on the losses that you've had. This has been a big year for me. And there was a lot of shame early on about my anxiety, like I mentioned, and feeling like, God darn it, I'm gonna censor my language because I don't want to have to put this as an explicit content video. I would say something else, but we'll leave it at gosh darn it. I should have this figured out if anybody does. I've got almost a decade worth of education. I've got almost a decade of working in mental health. My internal voice told myself for a lot of this year that this is ridiculous and I should be really ashamed of myself that I can't get a handle on this anxiety. And you know what? That's not right. We all have struggles. We all have things that are tough for us. And there's no shame in admitting that. And if anything, what I've learned through a wonderful community of online people and a community I'm starting to build online and I use this term for myself. If any of my friends see this, I'm not using this label for you, but you know I say this jokingly. Neurodivergent weirdos like me. I'm learning that people will accept you and will love you and will cherish you being authentic and letting them know that you aren't perfect and that you have struggles. And you know what? That's a really darn good feeling to know that you can be human and to know that people will get it. Sure, there are going to be some people that are going to be jerks and are just going to say, oh, this is ridiculous, or you shouldn't be counseling anybody, or why are you complaining about life, or blah, 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 whatever the case is. But you know what? Dr. Seuss quote that I paraphrase pretty frequently with clients that I work with, people like that mind, they don't matter. And the people that matter to you and that you really matter to them, they're not going to mind. They're actually, if anything, going to be more drawn to you because they're going to see that you are an imperfectly perfect person, just like all of us. So look back on your year, look back on the things you struggled with, and give yourself some compassion around those struggles. Allow yourself to feel the grief if you've had losses. I lost a furry family member not too long ago. It's been less than a month, and it still sucks, and it still hurts, and it still thinks about my little buddy my little cat Dimitri, that I may try to put a picture here, and I'm not going to do that because I don't like editing video, like I said. My little black and white tuxedo cat Dimitri, who we jokingly called our ex-KGB spy ninja cat because his name was Dimitri and because he was very aloof. And he also had a weird ability to scale walls and get in our back bathroom, even though there's just about this much of an opening, about 7.5 feet off the ground. So I digress, though. He'd been with me for 16 and a half years, and his health hadn't been good the past year or so. And we'd taken him to several vets, and we couldn't get it figured out. And so what we were told and what we were doing was just spoiling him rotten and enjoying every moment we had with him. But it sucked. And it still sucks when I get up in the morning and I make my coffee and my little dude's not there sitting on the kitchen table looking at me. If I'd have my back turned, be talking to my wife, I would get this on my back. Sorry, I'm choking up a little bit. I get this on my back because he'd be like, hey, pay attention to me, man. And then I'd make my coffee, which I'm drinking a cup now at 5 o'clock in the evening, probably not the best decision. And the moment he would hear this noise, he'd jump down off the kitchen table and go running into our music room and sit right in front of my chair and wait for me to come in there and sit down. And he'd jump up and curl up on my lap and go to sleep every morning while I was drinking my coffee before I started my workday. So it sucks and it hurts not having him here. And grief's a process, and grief takes time to go through. And if you've went through something similar, it's okay to be sad about it. Don't let anybody shame you for that. Don't shame yourself for that. Some people would say, why are you upset about an animal dying? Blah, blah, blah. You know what? Forget those people. Maybe you've had bigger losses than that. And I'm not trying to compare, but maybe you lost a family member this year. Maybe you had a relationship that ended. Maybe you've had health problems. Maybe you've got a bad diagnosis or something like that. It's okay to feel that. It's okay to grieve that. You're not weak for feeling that. You're a real person who feels sadness and grief and happiness and joy and anger and frustration and all of those things. So don't shove any of those things down. Trust me. I see it every day with people that I work with, and I lived it for years myself before I did my own work. And that's not to say that I'm perfect, far from it. But for years, I did the whole game of shoving it down and saying, nope, not going to go there. Not going to feel that one. That one sucks too much. Not going to feel that one. That one's negative. Always got to look on the bright side of life. You know what? That stuff doesn't go away when you do that. It just sets inside you and it gets worse and worse. And it eventually will come out. And sometimes it'll come out in an inopportune time. So let yourself feel what you need to feel. If you have the ability and you have the means to work with a therapist or a life coach or a counselor, I highly recommend that. And that's not self-serving. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's self-serving because that's how I make my living. My main income is through counseling and coaching. But I'm not saying talk to me. Talk to somebody. Even if you have a friend you can trust or a family member, talk to somebody. Don't keep those things bottled up inside you because they will eat you alive and they will carry on into your next relationship or health struggle or family relationship or romantic relationship or whatever the case is. So let yourself feel those things. Also, look back and celebrate your freaking successes, people. It's easy to look back in the things we've struggled with, and naturally, human nature says that we're going to look for the negatives and we're going to try to protect ourselves against those things. So it's not unusual to look back and say, this was bad, this was bad, this was bad, this is bad. And if you're someone who struggles with your self-worth and your self-opinion, it's not hard to look back on the things that you did that went well and go, wasn't a big deal. Or, that's just who I am. Or, that doesn't matter. Or, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Insert self-effacing comment here. Don't do that yourself. Give yourself credit for the things that you've done that are good. Give yourself credit for the person that you are. Love and own those things because you deserve those things. If someone gave you a compliment, just say thank you. If someone let you know that you were there for them and your initial instinct, your gut reaction was to downplay it, ask yourself, why are you downplaying it? Why is it uncomfortable for that person to give you a compliment? So, reflecting on 2023, grieve the bad, celebrate the good, recognize that it's all just a step in your journey for where you're going next. I really want to jump right into let's talk about 2024 and let's talk about what that can look like and what we can start thinking about for the coming year. But you know what? I've already rambled a lot. And I have a tendency, hi, ADHD brain, to be all over the place. So I think I'm going to stop here for now. So I just want to say, as I tell all my friends out there, you know who you are if any of you see this, all my friends in real life, all my family, I'm going to end this by saying the same thing. I see you. I care about you. I love you. I want nothing but you to have a good life. I want it to be peaceful. And I want it to be happy. And if I can in some way play a role in that, I'm not saying reach out and pay me X amount of dollars per hour to be your counselor. If you want to do that and you feel the urge, cool. Maybe I'm a great person for you for that. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I can't be. Maybe I'm not licensed in your state. But you know what? Me, just as a random talking head on the internet, I want to say that you matter and that I hope you had a good 2023. And I hope you're looking forward to 2024 coming up. And I hope you get something beneficial out of these videos. Take care, everyone. Bye.